Welcome to the Puck Crew. I'm your captain, Camille, and I have one of my alternates with me.
I'm Mal.
And today we are resuming coverage of Heated Rivalry Episode 6, The Cottage. We have our returning guests, Erin Hattimer.
Hello.
And trauma therapist Miranda.
Hi.
That's your name now.
Trauma therapist Miranda and space Erin.
We're bringing very different expertise to this podcast episode. Trauma therapist Miranda, comedian
Unhealthy
Erin.
coping mechanism. Oh, sorry.
Listen, I said every time I'm going to threaten to kill myself, and that doesn't count now, I will donate. Ow, I just hit my hand. Ow, sorry. Anyways.
Ow, I hit my hand. I'm going to kill myself.
You'll donate to what? Finish that sentence.
I'm not going to lie. I want to say it. Like, I was rewatching the episode, and I was like, I'm going to kill myself. And then I was like, oh, this is the episode where Ilya says his mom killed herself, so I can't. But, like, I want to. I won't.
Miranda, would you drop your socials for everyone listening, please?
Follow me on Threads. It kill me. I'm gonna kill myself.
$10 to the Irina jar.
On Threads at it's.miranda.lee, Lee.
And Erin, what are your socials?
You can follow me at Instagram at Erin Hatta, ErinHatta, and at TikTok for now, in italicized, at Erin Hattimer, which is just my name.
Listeners, just so you know, this is going to be a bit of a Frankenstein episode, okay? Because like I told you last week, we lost one of our guests, and so we are sitting in a new recording session. We're going to kind of go over a couple more things, and I'm going to patch it all together and make it sound as great as I can. So just know, if there are any weird editing cuts or anything like that, I am doing my best. I'm an amateur. I've literally been editing the podcast for 2 months now. So this is all very new to me. Also, just housekeeping, we will be doing an episode next week where we're going to talk about season 2 and our hopes for season 2 and what we want to see.
And get a little into the long game.
We're going to talk about the long game. We're going to talk about what the fuck Robert thinks happens in that book, because Robert hasn't read it. And so we're going to play 2 truths and a lie, I think, and see if they can figure out what actually happens.
I need a good lie. I haven't come up with a lie. I have my 2 truths, but I don't have a lie. I'm bad at lying.
So we're going to do that. That's going to be great. We have another guest joining us for that. And then, Mal, do you want to tell people kind of what our game plan is going forward after that?
Yes. So we have decided that we are going to focus on the Hollanders books first, so that way we can cover both Heated Rivalry and The Long Game before Unrivaled drops in September, because we also really want to talk about that one kind of right as it comes out. And then eventually we will get to the other books at some point thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in charge of making this plan. It will get made. It's not totally made yet, but it's going to happen. I believe in myself.
We also have posted a couple of the retranslated Russian scenes to YouTube. So if you are interested in seeing what they are actually saying in Russian rather than what Crave and HBO want you to think they're saying, you can go check that out on our YouTube, Pit Crew Podcast. But now we're gonna just dive back into everything.
And we're diving right back into the best scene of the show, right?
And I think you and I have the same clown to clown communication on the detail, the little motion. Yeah.
Oh, locked in immediately.
I knew that was what you were talking about. The little grooming.
Okay, oh my god. Okay. So what happens is Shane is laying in bed. The lights are off. Ilya is asleep. Shane smacks his head against the headboard and he turns on the light and he's like, Ilya, wake up. I can't keep this in my head anymore. I've got so many thoughts. I've got to get them out. I have to tell you right now. So he wakes Ilya up. I love the lighting of the scene. I love the colors. I love the intimacy of it all. The way that they are always touching now is beautiful to me. I love it so much. I love this casual intimacy that they've fallen into now that they're allowed, now that they're not scared of being caught. And this is the moment that the 3 of us are obsessed with. Yes. So Ilya rolls over and Shane picks, like, I don't know if it's fuzz or a hair or what, but Shane picks it off his chest and like tosses it off the edge of the bed. And it's this casual, again, it's the casual body language that Hudson and Connor embody in these characters. The way that they're just like, I'm gonna rub my nose or scratch my face or whatever, or like, oh, you have some fuzz on your chest here, you know? They're just like taking care of each other. And it's so goddamn cute.
It's familiar. And like,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it so good, because you believe that these two people have spent how many years are we at now? 9 years, 10 years developing this relationship. It's so good. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Connor does this to Hudson in one of the interviews, maybe the Teen Vogue interview.
No. It's the one where I can't remember exactly which interview it is. But
I know
it's
the moment
where Hudson is saying, I have 35 photos saved to my camera roll of your butt.
And Connor's like, no, you don't.
And he's like picking a hair off his sweater. I love it. They just, the natural movement of the way they embody these characters is really endearing to me. And I feel like, again, I'm in the cuck chair. Like, what's going on? So, I just like a friendly reminder to everybody who's annoyed by the fact that like Shane has come up with this entire plan for how Ilya can change his whole life, but not Shane. Ilya is the free agent, not Shane. Shane can't make this plan for himself. Now, there's a whole other conversation to be had regarding whether Shane would make all these changes and these sacrifices.
Right.
My thought is that part of Shane's arc in the long game is that he has to learn how to love Ilya better. He has to learn how to be comfortable in loving Ilya. And so part of this is I have to learn to sacrifice for my love. I can't have my cake and eat it too. I have to understand that this is a give and take, right?
And I also think hockey has been his number one love for the last, I don't know, how old is he? 24 years? Like, hockey has been the number one thing in his life. And to then have this other person that he now like loves more than hockey, like he has to learn what to do with that. Like, I think at this point, Shane definitely would not be willing to, because also like Shane is more obsessed with hockey than Ilya is. Like, Ilya is just kind of like, I like hockey because it's hockey and because I'm good at it. But Shane has more of the like love and the obsession with hockey. And so I don't know, it's a very interesting relationship that they have.
Well, I mean, hockey's never been something that was going to go away for him. And now he's got this other thing that's saying, I am never going away. I don't ever want this problem to go away, ever. I'm never going away, ever. Shane is being confronted with some other stability, which is surprising to him, because for him, it's just been hockey, right? And he hasn't been injured much. Like, he, we all get our bell rung eventually, But like up until now, he's had 8 great years of hockey without like really getting his shit handed to him or his shit rocked, So to finally like have this other thing, but then to know that this other thing is saying, I need you to give me some of what you've given to the other thing. Like, I need you to take, there is a finite amount of dedication that you have right now, and I need you to take some of this and I need you to give it to me. And it's not an intentional test, but it's a test of the relationship, right? Is this thing that you're obsessed with stability with, can you give some of that to me, Can you relinquish this thing? But also I think that if Shane doesn't learn how to relinquish hockey a little
Would you choose me over hockey?
Yeah.
Right.
Already chose you, Hollander.
We say that every goddamn episode.
I know. God. When I hear that on my screen, I am going to have to stand up and like take a lap. My God.
Erin was talking about the rewind button, the like 10-second rewind button. That thing is going to hate to see me coming.
I already chose you, Hollander.
Yeah.
I already chose you, Hollander.
Also, just the way that Ilya is like holding on to Shane's thigh during this conversation and rubbing his hand on Shane's thigh. Like the casual, I'm like, oh, you husbands, like just go get married. What the fuck? What are we waiting for? And he says, Hollander, very late. Like, what is
narrative?
What is narrative?
What is narrative?
And I think in the book, he's like, English is very hard. I just woke up. I like that as Shane is explaining this plan, you can tell exactly where the planning stops because he very abruptly is like, and then Ilya's like, and we like sucking each other's dicks. Any questions? Like, but then Shane is like nodding, like, yes, he's getting it. Wait a minute, he's fucking with me. Like, Erin, tell us about the scene and why you love it so much.
Okay. I have watched so much TV in my life, more than I have not watched TV. I have many favorite TV shows. I have many TV shows I watch. My favorite character type always is a character that is just completely shut off, usually due to some kind of trauma. And then throughout the course of the season or episode or whatever, they finally just let the walls come down emotionally when they find someone to like love romantically or familially. We gotta think Mickey Malkovich, Shameless. We got to think Hopper, Stranger Things, Joel, The Last of Us. And there's always a moment where you see the wall finally break down. And every time I see it, it is a gut like I get like ecstasy out of it because I'm like feel like you're clenching while you're watching this person the entire time, being like, come on, like you're a good person, like it's
Joel
okay.
calling Ellie baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
That, like Hopper breaking down in the car, calling Elle in the second season, Mickey finally just slapping the bar and being like, I'm fucking gay. Love that scene. But like there's just always a moment where it finally cracks. It's never like, oh, I'm gonna open up eventually. It's just finally like something hits a wall and the wall crashes down. And then you just see this with Ilya. He finally was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna sob. I'm gonna tell you I love you. And it was just such it's just it's my favorite thing to happen in TV and film, and it was done so well and it was acted so well because like I was shocked because I was like I didn't think I was gonna get that out of Ilya this season. I didn't think he was gonna break that down. I didn't think he was gonna show that much emotion. You can just tell by the end he's like, that's it, I'm on the other side of this now. Just like there's so many like little things he does for self-soothing that aren't long-term things, you know, like the smoking, the drinking, and the sex, and even hockey. Like, you know, he gets a high off of winning, but he doesn't care about hockey that much. And Connor's story has mentioned that, like, that's his take, that Ilya doesn't actually care about hockey that much. And it's kind of like the equivalent of seeing someone drowning and you can't save them, and you're like, no. And then finally, after like 6 episodes, after a season, finally, like, someone throws them a life raft, and you're like, oh my God. Like I was like, Ilya, fucking finally, let it fall, babe. Like, oh, thank you, Jesus. The thing that made him finally crack was Shane being like, I want a future with you.
Here's the plan.
Because again, he hasn't let himself consider there being a future. Like, this is never something that he has allowed himself to consider that he could even have. And like hearing Shane lay it all out, he's like, oh my God, like we have something here. Like there's a future for me. And just and then he just becomes lover boy of all time. And I love him so much.
Yeah. And it feels like he's doing the thing in this scene that he does in the Rose scene and with the I Could Marry Svetlana scene, where he's sort of like testing the waters a little bit. He's like, I'm not awake. Explain it better to me. Do you really think this far ahead? I'm going to call you Hollander, not Shane. Like, he still has these protective mechanisms that are present. And as we know from the Russian monologue, like, he's already said this out loud. He hasn't said it in a language that Shane understands, but like he's already said it out loud. And so he's been holding on to this. And to me, this feels like he's trying so hard to avoid saying it first. And then he just can't hold it in anymore. And it's just like a dam bursts. And then we get that pullback and the I mean, which is so childlike and is so like, oh, fuck, I can't believe that I did this.
And do you think that when he says, I mean, do you guys think that he was about to say, like, my English?
Maybe. I think it was his.
Because he does that a lot. Even in fights with Shane, like, later on in the series, he'll say something, and Shane will be like, I don't understand. Like, why are you, you know? And Ilya says, oh, sorry, you know, my English is not so good. As, like, a defense mechanism.
Here's how I read it, is like in episode 4 in the tuna melt stuff, when he's like, stay, I'm not, and that's very tender and sweet. That's my favorite, like, Ilya visual. Like, that's the softest I think I see. Ilya is in bed when he's asking Shane to stay, but he says stay, and then he's like, I'm not done with you, which is bringing it back to sex. Or like we talked about earlier, I like girls, but I also like you.
Not as a person.
Not as a person.
Yeah. I feel like it is a desperate, like, clunky effort to retract what he's just said, but he can't do it. So the only thing he can come up with is, I mean. There's nothing else he could say to take back I love you in English.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
He is so far gone that he says I love you 3 times. The third time is the only time that Shane understands it, right? So it's ya tebya lublu. Multiple times he whispers it, and then he says I love you.
Yeah.
But I also just, there's like, yes, thank you, Shane, for the logistics. Thank you for bringing what Ilya needs, because Ilya, yes, his love language is physical touch, but we learn as we get deeper into him as a character that his love language is also, like, his immediate relief love language is physical touch. The long-term love language is acts of service. Yeah. Claim me in front of everyone. Tell people you love me. Show people you love me. Help me make plans for the future, right? Like, dedicate yourself to me and show me that you've done that. I want to see that you've done that. I want to see that you love me. I want to see that you're committed, right? Ottawa and Montreal, yes, they're in the same conference. They say division, but we call them conferences. So Eastern, Western, Central Conference, things like that. So they would still be against each other in the same conference. However, there's not a big rivalry in the press.
Because Ottawa sucks.
They need a star center. They're nowhere near their cap, is what Shane says. Their salary cap is what he's talking about. So every NHL team has a salary cap, which I think for this season currently is about $95 million. But that's the money they have to spend on players as a whole for that season. I did look it up. The cap for the 2017-18 season was $75 million. Ilya at this time is probably making about $10 million a year. So basically what Shane is saying is that, like, they don't have any star players that are taking up a lot of money. They have a lot of money left, so they can afford you, right?
I know some other stars you should pick up in the next few years. Troy Barrett, White Hayes, Shane Hollander.
Yeah, I love this scene. The scene is wonderful. And I also love the fact that we as the audience don't realize that Ilya is crying for a minute.
Connor's story, the king of the side of the face that's not facing the camera being the tear that comes down.
Oh, God. So he is crying. Like, you can see his eyes get wet. And then he's crying. And when he says, you really think that far ahead, you can hear it in his voice that he's crying. And you can see Shane, like, touching his face. But then when he turns his face, you see the tear. And Shane wipes it away and says, hey. And, like, Shane is also so charmed by the fact that this is so emotional for Ilya, which is why he kind of laughs a little bit before Ilya kisses him. And I just, oh my God. Yeah. This scene is really incredible.
I feel really normal about them, actually, so jot that down.
Yeah.
I think we're all on this call right now because we all feel really normal about them.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about how, like, this bedroom is really small comparatively. Like, the bed takes up a lot of the space in this room, as we've seen. But I also was thinking about the fact that, like, Jacob and the producer, like, everybody must have been in another room watching the monitors. So this scene literally was the boys, sound, camera. That's it. It's just them in the room. So it really does, when you have a small enclosed room like that you're filming in, they really do, like, most people are not in that room with you. So they really are, like, separated from the crew when they're filming something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it really is, it is very intimate. And I love when Ilya gets to be held.
Yeah.
Especially because of these, like, dom sub kind of implications. I just love that when someone's being held, it's usually Ilya. I love that Shane, like, grabs his hair. Shane loves to hold on to that man's hair. Oh my God. Shane is, like, cradling his head and kissing his forehead and holding onto his hair. And if you look really closely, someone made an edit, right, where it looks like Shane has a tear down his face. He doesn't. But if you look closely, he does, like, the corners of his eyes are wet. Like, he has been crying too, but just not down his face. But the corners of his eyes are wet. Mal, I want to talk to you because you had opinions about the scene. You liked this change because you and I were watching this when this happened and we were like, oh, okay. So the line in the book is, does it feel like agony for you too?
Mhm.
In the show, it's, does it fucking kill you too? Mal, how did you feel about this change?
Originally, the like book purist, because I get called that sometimes on my other podcast. The book purist in me was like, they changed it, but like it actually like it makes a whole lot more sense. Like the word agony is a little more poetic, and I think like gets more into what he's actually feeling. But I also don't think that he would say it like that. Like I do think he would say it as the "does it fucking kill you too?" Because I mean, Shane loves to say fuck. He says it so many times in the episode. And also, like, I don't think he would say, like, Ilya would be like, what is agony? Like, what is that?
Exactly. Ilya has literally just said, what is narrative? Like, I just woke up. Right. Yeah. And I think that is a credit to Shane, is that he hears Ilya, right? He hears Ilya saying, I don't understand the words you're saying. It's very late. I just woke up. Like, what are you saying? And so now Shane is adapting the way that he speaks in a way that Ilya can match, match his freak.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shots, I think, of the entire series is Ilya laying on top of Shane.
That butt. Sorry, that's not what you meant.
No.
I mean, the butt and the back.
And so every time I see this frame, it makes me think of a moment from The Long Game that I'm gonna read to you guys. Is basically Ilya's like asking Shane, like, what's handsome about me? Like, what do you like about me? And Shane says, you're so fucking big, like everywhere. Your arms, your chest, your fucking thighs. I love how tall you are. I don't even care that you make fun of my height because I fucking love being swallowed up by you when we're together. And that's what I always think of from this shot, is Ilya on top of Shane and just the way his leg is up and he's just completely covering him. And I'm just like, God. And then
he loves it.
And then we cut into this next scene where this track in the score is called One Soul. And it is basically like a reprise of a score from the very ending. The rooftop in Vegas of episode 1 is called Two Souls.
Sorry.
And this is, no, I love that. It's good. This is an audio medium. Gasp while you want, bestie. So we go from two souls to one soul.
That's crazy.
I cannot be close enough to you.
They're soulmates, Your Honor.
Yeah. Like they are so close to each other that they are just one soul.
Yeah.
And it's not even sexual in this moment. It's just like every part of me wants to be touching every part of you because it's what feels natural to me right now. It's what I need. It's what my body is calling for. From the inside out, every part of me wants to be with every part of you. And this is the moment they've finally like declared themselves, right? But not even just saying I love you. They've declared intentions to do something about that. I think there's a big difference between saying I love you and between saying I have a plan for the future. And also, I love you.
Yeah.
You know?
The action behind the words.
Love with intention, right? Is how Shane's love language is quality time.
Right.
And then you've got Ilya, who's physical and acts of service. But I think at the same time, I think they both have like these aspects of acts of service in that, like for Shane will go to take a shower after sex and he'll come back out to their room and Ilya has changed the sheets and made the bed and done all of these little things that Shane doesn't even have to ask for anymore because Ilya just knows like Shane's going to want to change the sheets and start the wash and all this stuff. And so I just love the acknowledgement of like, we're getting really comfortable with each other now. We're settling into like homeostasis. We are like, okay, we're good. We're finding our baseline and now we can build from there. So Ilya is sitting outside smoking a cigarette and he's watching the sunrise and Shane comes out and brings him a coffee and drapes a blanket over him. And it's just this incredibly intimate, non-sexual moment. And then we cut to honestly like the most erotic and intimate sexual moment of the entire show.
This is the sex scene that I most feel like I am in the cuck chair and like I want to leave. I want to give them a moment because like this is not about me and I feel like I shouldn't be here because it is so like there's so many emotions involved and I'm just like I shouldn't be here. Like this is between them. I'm not a part of this.
It's not even like the other ones. I was like, ooh, thrusting sex. Ooh, this is great. And then this one, I was just looking at their faces and I was like, oh my God. Like when he's grabbing Ilya's face and like they look like
brother, he is lost in the sauce.
Oh, like they look like they're drowning and they're holding on to each other. Like the eye contact is insane. Like I was watching it and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah,
you're
it's crazy.
intruding. It kind of reminds me of the tuna melt couch scene where the decision to stay focused on their faces is so smart to me, because we're in the intimacy with them, not necessarily just the like eroticism of the like sex act. We're in their like emotions that they're feeling while they're having sex. We're in their connection, which to Mal's point feels intrusive. You're like, I need to give you a second. Y'all do your thing. I'll come back later.
I think it's very important to point out this is the only sex scene of them that we have post saying I love
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
Yeah.
This is not a sex scene. They are making love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the tone shift is insane. This is the so in episode 4, right, we have from the book Shane's internal monologue is saying, me spending time with Ilya here. This is indulgent and dangerous. Isn't that how he describes it?
I think so.
Indulgent and dangerous. And now this is indulgent and safe.
Yeah.
It's also, no, like at the second I was like, spoon sex. Why are they doing spoon sex? And I was like, oh, because it's like the laziest, chillest kind of sex. Where you can kind of just like hang out. And I was like, that's honestly like the most coupley kind of sex is spoon
They've
sex.
got time.
So yeah, they really went from back shots to fronts.
Well, I even just love the way that like Ilya holds Shane's knee. But I love I mean, even just like we get these role reversals of now we have Ilya sucking on Shane's thumb.
Yeah.
I love that part.
I love the comparison, right? Is that like it's not just that Shane has like learned from Ilya, right? It's that Shane is like understanding that things can be comfortable and erotic. Like it doesn't have to feel unsafe or dangerous to be erotic. Like he's learning that like this can be safe and comfortable and lazy and you know. When you have a lesbian going, yes, watching these sex scenes, you know you did it right.
Well, and I think that's also the beauty of the show, because just like with them, like they've lured you in with this thing that's like fun and erotic and like they're having so much sex, and then all of a sudden you're just like hit in the feels the same way that they were, and you're like, God, this is fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Mal, do we want to talk about in the only sex scene in this entire episode? Of course, I'm gonna ask the lesbian about this.
Yes, please ask me about the male sex scene.
There's a dialogue change because in the book, it's Ilya that asks, how could we let this happen? And Shane is the one that says, we're very stupid and irresponsible. And then we swapped it for the show. So what do you think about that?
I actually like didn't clock that it had been swapped until just now when you said that.
Do you like it better the way it is in the show or the book?
I mean, I love the show. I feel like I've seen the show more times, so a lot of the changes that the show make feel like this is how it's supposed to be, just because that's like it's more accessible to like watch a show a bunch of times than it is to read a book a bunch of times. So I don't necessarily think I like either one better, but I think
it does feel more natural for Shane to be the one asking than for it to be Ilya. Does anyone else have thoughts on that?
I thought the opposite. I kind of like the idea of that in the middle of like this very intense sex. Shane is still clocking in his like logistical brain, like, wow, we were really stupid and irresponsible.
I guess it kind of does show vulnerability on Ilya's part that he's the one saying in the book, how could we let this happen?
That's the other thing. It's like I would have liked it because I like the vulnerable parts, but it works either way.
Maybe it's just a sign that they're so in sync that it doesn't matter who brings it up because we're just all feeling it.
Yeah.
That, like,
One
I can't
soul.
believe we let this happen.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. During that scene, I personally wasn't focused on what they were saying. I was focused on like the thumb just jamming into his mouth. I was like, get a whole fist in there.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, are we done?
Aaron, Bong could go to horny jail.
I haven't threatened to kill myself yet, though. So wait, should we have a horny jar too? It doesn't matter. We can keep going.
I do think maybe for the medium, it's appropriate in both. Like, it is appropriate in the book the way it is, and it's appropriate in the show the way it is, just because of the way that we're showing monologues, internal monologues, you know? So maybe it works better, like, being different in both, you know? I don't necessarily think Jacob Tierney was like, "Ooh, let me fix this." Right after this sex scene,
Don't.
we have, like, one of them.
I'm like,
Everybody has just covered their face.
It's too much.
The most Achilles I've ever seen this man, right? Achilles and Patroclus, like, that's absolutely what's happening here.
Manifesting.
God. We just have this crash back down to reality that, like, people with depression will understand. The way that Ilya is staring off into the distance. And again, this is where I put the quote from the book of, "It was a tiny bit devastating to learn that none of the changes he'd made in his life had fixed him." This crash of, like, going from the highest high to the lowest low and immediately just being like, everyone hates me. You can go from, I feel so loved and I'm having the greatest time, and then a minute later you're like, well, that's over, and I know now that everyone actually hates me and nothing will ever be good because life is awful.
Ugh.
I wrote down the phrase, like, I have everything I ever wanted. Why am I still sad? And that compounds people's depression. Like, when you're depressed, you're not only depressed and like lacking in the like dopamine and serotonin, you're also questioning constantly why you're depressed. Like, so many people are like, well, there's nothing I like have to be depressed about. There's nothing concrete that I can point to that's a why. And that makes it, sometimes can make it even worse, because you're like, well, then this just must be me. This just must be me and my fault. And that's so painful.
I think one thing to consider is that this is also the first moment that Ilya has had to think about the fact that he's about to leave all his friends behind and move to another country, right? We had that fear of him saying, Montreal is nice, yes, Boston is nice too. And now the only place he's known other than Russia is Boston. And now he's got to leave Boston and move to another country where Shane doesn't live. He doesn't live in Ottawa year round, right? He's there for the summers. And like, yes, he'll have the Hollanders, but he's never even met them. He doesn't know if they like him, right?
Well, and
he is taking a big risk.
That's not part of the plan.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he also does have another year in Boston. Like, he's a free agent at the end of the next season, not this season. So he's going back to Boston. Because I don't know at what point bringing the Hollanders into the equation, like, where does that fit in Shane's plan? Because obviously it's not now when it's about to happen, but like at what point was he intending to introduce his family to Ilya? Like, I think that's like, was Ilya going to move to Ottawa still totally secret and be like in the same city as Shane's parents, and they just didn't even know?
Be his mistress,
essentially.
Yeah.
I thought it was so, when they cut to this scene, and I was like, oh, they're not showing Shane's face at all. It's really just Ilya, and it's Ilya thinking, and I was really interested why they did that. And when I read it, I hadn't read The Long Game, so I had none of that context. And my thing was, I think there's like a before the I love you and the after I love you. So I think he realizes that he's now stepped into this new world where everything he's comfortable with, even if it's hurt him, he has to like start to let go of. And he's kind of like laying there and being like, oh, I'm on this like new phase of my life. This is terrifying.
There is no more Russia.
Yeah.
Now. Like, I have to let go of that. I can't fall back on that now. There
Can't
is
fall
no
back
Russia.
on like saying I don't love Shane. I can't deny that anymore. I can't have random sex anymore. Like, not that he wanted to, like, by the end he was like,
right,
oh,
he doesn't want to at all. Right.
But
right.
It's very much, he's like, I think when you're in these patterns that are really bad for you, but they're comforting because they're patterns. And now Ilya realizes he has to break all of them. And I think that's him just thinking like, okay, yeah.
Like, I'm really about to blow up my whole life for this man.
Totally. Can I also make a comment about the lighting in this scene?
No.
Yes, please.
I love the like framing of this scene where we're focused on Ilya and Shane's like mostly out of frame, but also Ilya's eyes and forehead are tilted toward the light and Shane is tilted toward Ilya. Like, he's fully immersed in Ilya.
He's in shadow.
And Ilya's face is turned toward the light, which I think we're going to talk about this more when we talk about the Hollander cottage. But like, I think now that Ilya has made this, has, taken down, as Erin said, the Berlin Wall, like between
It's time to come out.
He's like, I would do this. I would do this the whole way if you wanted to.
And you haven't heard this yet, but in our first episode with Erin, we talked about how Shane's version of love is I would build something for you, and Ilya's version of love is I would burn it all down for you.
Yeah. Yes. So I think this is such a beautiful image. I posted about this on Threads, and a lot of people really responded to it being like, oh, yeah, like Ilya, this is the shot that sets up the long game for me.
Yes.
This is the shot.
Mine hasn't come up yet.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about mine. Oh, boy. Now, Shane asks what Ilya's mother's name was. And there's something about the way he says Irina, the way that his facial posturing. Yeah, no, there's something that it does. It scratches your brain in just the right way, the way he says Irina. Yeah. And Shane suggests, well, first off, Shane leans down after Ilya says his mother's name because Shane is in tune to what Ilya needs, right? And he leans down and kisses Ilya on the chest before then saying, I was thinking we could start a hockey camp for kids and donate all the proceeds to suicide awareness and mental health organizations. And we have the most devastating line of the entire series probably is, she would have loved you like I love you.
Yeah. Every time it feels like I've been punched.
Are you crying? It makes my heart race and it kind of makes my eyes sting a little bit just like thinking about it, because that is even more profound a way to say I love you than saying I love you in your native language and your second language. Like, wow.
She loved you like I love you.
And it's the fact that the way he whispers it.
Yeah.
The fact that it's whispered is like, I shouldn't be here. I'm so sorry. Why am I so close to you guys? I'll give you a minute. I'm so sorry. Let me get out of here and let you guys have a moment.
Yeah. This is, obviously he's just like in it about his mom. He's like, damn, this person who I love so much sees me in a way like what a you were talking about Ilya and like acts of service and how, Shane, he needs Shane to show him. What a profound way for Shane to show him that he loves him, to be like considering these things and to express them, to feel safe enough to express them out loud.
Ilya has not been allowed to talk about his
Correct. Mom. So Shane not only allows him that space, like at the fire, but then also like doubles down.
Opening the conversation himself.
Yeah, brings it up himself, which shows Ilya that Shane is not afraid. Shane's not afraid of that topic. He's not afraid to talk about the hard stuff.
There's a difference between, in episode 1, Grigorievich saying, you don't speak unless you're spoken to. You don't speak, you listen, right? And then Shane in episode 5 saying, you can talk to me about whatever. Here's a space for you. I made it for you. I love you, so I made you the space to say whatever you need to say. That's really wonderful. And again, one of the most beautiful shots of the entire show is Ilya laying in bed with Shane's hands framing his face.
His entire.
And oh my God, his entire face. And it's just like his eyes are catching the light and it's just fucking phenomenal. Jackson Peril, you are a witch.
A witch.
My guy. This is insane.
And again, I'm looking at it right now. I like pulled it up. Ilya is like literally looking into the sunlight while Shane's eyes are closed and Shane is tucked into his chest.
They deserve sunshine.
They deserve sunshine, but Shane is like, oh, I already have everything that I have what I need now. And Ilya's like, oh shit, I want everyone to know.
Yeah. Mermaid Ilya.
Yes.
Going back to silly performative,
Shane, play mermaids with him.
Yes.
Ilya asks Shane, where he does yoga, and Shane is like, no, they had me do it out. Wait, you saw that? And his voice cracks.
It's so cute.
It's amazing. It's so cute. And Ilya splashes Shane, and we have terrifying foreshadowing is that Shane says, what if my phone was in my pocket? And Ilya says, it's not. You left it on the table. It's been ringing all morning. And I'm like,
and we didn't
think we should check the phone, boys?
Shane didn't check the phone? Shane, Hollander?
Oh my God. And then everything about the gimme kiss moment, like the way
You're
he swims up,
cold.
he kisses his shin, and then like grabs his knees and is like, gimme kiss.
Gimme kiss.
Ah!
I say that to my cats all the time.
Gimme kiss.
It also is like, I mean, there's so many parallels to episodes, but of like, we didn't even kiss to gimme
To
kiss.
gimme kiss.
Gimme kiss.
And it's so casual and it's so nice. And he's on a fucking rock that can barely hold his weight. Why did they make him go on the rock? Just make him go in the water at that point. That was so
They don't have a
odd.
dock because
Yeah,
he has
just
to make
put
the
him in the
comment about the
water.
phone.
Dude, like the production designer showing up and being like, we're gonna use that rock. You would go sit on that rock for this scene.
Can Shane swim? Because he also doesn't swim at the All-Star game in episode 5.
He's hydrophobic.
Confirmed. Can Shane Hollander swim?
I'm starting a rumor that Shane can't swim.
Smart.
Oh my god. We don't have enough time for me to harp on it as much as I want to. Canadians, I'm sorry. You say pasta weird. You say pasta? That's fucking weird.
And also tour.
Tour.
Tour. Do you want a
You want a
tour?
tour of the house?
I can give you a tour if you'd like.
Oh my god. So anyway, I posted, I was like, why the fuck did he say pasta like that? And I got ripped to pieces by Canadians in my replies, and I was like, Jesus Christ, calm down.
I also
Oh my
just have
God.
questions about Ilya choosing hot dogs and him being like, well, they're gonna have to defrost. Why are the hot dogs in the freezer?
Innuendo, baby. Anyway. This scene makes me so anxious, even though I know it's gonna be okay. But like Ilya is like grabbing Shane's butt up against the window. Oh my god!
It's also like framed like a horror movie.
It is.
Like
It is.
the killer is waiting for them in the kitchen as we like pan and kind of see David's back, because for a moment it's like, who is this in their kitchen?
This is very much like the Winter Soldier waiting in the kitchen after dark. You're right. So Ilya notices David and pulls away from Shane a little bit, but still kind of has his arms on Shane. And David pulls the tuna melt and sprints out of there.
Like father,
They-
like son.
being boring and dramatic are both
Yes.
genetic, confirmed. So Ilya says, maybe you should. And Shane says, yeah. But then he makes absolutely no move to do anything. And so Ilya says, do you want me to? And Shane's like, no. And he goes to confront his dad, but David is gone. He is leaving. I love the fact that Ilya hangs back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that he comes to the door to wait for Shane. No, he is back by the sliding door. Like he is letting Shane have his space to do what he needs to do. So we have this other incredible scene that I'm obsessed with. And we've just all talked a little bit, but then we were like, wait, we should wait. Jacob Tierney, there's just been a clip that's come around about him talking about how he didn't really understand how Hudson went about this scene and how big his reaction was. But he's just saying, oh my fucking God, oh my God, oh my God. He's freaking out, like acting with his full body again, pacing around the room, leaning over the chair, leaning into the wall, like just having a panic attack. But what I thought was very interesting is that, like, yes, this seems unlike, in a way, Shane, but it's actually not. It's very true to Shane, because this is actually just the first time we've seen Shane have a panic attack and have a space where he feels comfortable
Right.
to express it physically.
If I ever meet Hudson Williams, I want to ask him his choices in this scene, because I was rewatching Heated Rivalry. I don't know if you guys know this. I've rewatched it 47,000
Yeah.
times.
Really?
And I was looking at his scenes in like the first episode, and he really does not do big swings acting wise. Like he's very subtle. Like even I think the most expressive he gets is when he's putting on the suit and he goes, "What are you doing, dude?" Great scene. But like that's it. And then going from that, and then I was rewatching the Cottage episode, he is doing big, dramatic, full body moves with this scene. And I really want to know why. Like, I don't think it doesn't work. I just didn't see it coming.
So here's what I think. There is an interview that he did, and I can't remember which one it is, but he said that one of his favorite things about Connor is that Connor makes you feel like you can take risks and be bigger. And so he said something about he loves acting with Connor because Connor kind of gave him the confidence to do things he wouldn't normally be comfortable with doing. But I also think that, again, this is like a safe space for Shane to have that
Mhm.
big reaction now, rather than where we've seen him before. This is a place where, with Ilya, Shane doesn't necessarily have to tamper down, especially in his cottage with Ilya after all these years. He doesn't have
Right.
to tamp it down.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I feel like
Mm.
in episode 1, we are looking at a Shane who doesn't really know who he is outside of hockey, like, at all. It's been, like, his whole trajectory, like, of his life up until this point has just been, like, "I'm gonna be number 1 at hockey," and then he's, like, very much not number 1, and so we're kind of dealing with that, and then now he's sort of becoming a person outside of hockey, like, through the events of these 6 episodes, and he's found this person that he feels safe with and kind of has the ability to have this big reaction because, I mean, I think, there's I don't know, what am I talking about? Anyway.
Yeah, you're good.
I was going to say much the same of what y'all have already said. We've talked about the way that Ilya is Shane's anchor in so many ways, and I think at least what I've experienced in my own lived experience with neurodivergence is when I have that anchor or that safe place where it's almost like being able to unmask, I guess.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that was an intentional choice on Hudson's part of like, all right, well, we said I love you, so you're going to get
Here's what you
all
signed
of
up
me.
for, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
You love me? Your mistake.
Watch out. But there does seem to be just like a freedom in expression that Shane keeps he's so like tightly wound. And I would imagine that finally finding out that the person that you love loves you back in the same big way would allow for a little more expressive freedom.
I mean, he did make Ilya promise that they were gonna, tell each other the truth, and I think
That's
this
true.
is sort of part of that.
Mm.
Like, I'm telling you the truth right now and letting you see this big emotion that I have. Because I feel like this sort of blew my mind. A coworker of mine, I said something about, like, I was like, oh my God, I'm so anxious, whatever. And my coworker looked at me and was like, I can't imagine you being anxious. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm anxious all the time. But, like,
I
I've
remember
never
when you told me that because I was like, is that a fucking joke? You're
No,
the
I
most
know, and
anxious person I know.
but it's like, because I realized, like, I've never shown her that. Like, I feel like I come
Mm.
off very calm, cool, and collected at work, and then in my group chats to my friends, I'm like, guys, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And I feel like Shane is also kind of that same way. Like, he's very private about sort of his breakdowns, and this is kind of the first time that he's letting someone see this breakdown. And so I think that also might be why it is even bigger, because he's like never done this in front of a person before.
I also, while you were talking, I also was just thinking that all of his secrets have been exposed now. Like
Mm.
the big secret has been exposed. His parents know now. And he and Ilya have already said what they need to say to each other. That barrier is gone. And then suddenly he can't hide from his parents. It's not like a safe bubble. So a breakdown feels
Appropriate.
right.
Yeah. I would even say that in episodes 1 and 2, you have the rooftop scene in Vegas, you have the bathroom scene in Vegas. Both of them are Shane having breakdowns. He's got tears in his eyes in both of those scenes. Now, on the rooftop, Shane is emotional, he's frustrated, he kind of yells at Ilya, and it's because he's been drinking. So those inhibitions he's kind of unmasked a little bit because he's been drinking. Ilya points out that he's drunk, and he has this big emotional moment, and they argue. But I will also say what plays into that, and there's not big physicality in that scene because they are in tuxedos in public, but also in the dark. There's something very claustrophobic feeling about it because it's dark.
Hmm.
Now, in the bathroom, we are in a very small bathroom. It's dimly lit. They're hiding. It's just a locked door between them and everybody that they don't want to know. But Shane is also very emotional there and shows Ilya that there. Like, Ilya can tell that he's upset there. And so this is just more, there's actually space for me to move. I can breathe and my lungs can expand. And also, it's daylight and I'm in my favorite place in the whole world with my favorite person in the whole world.
And also, you love me, and this breakdown is probably not going to change that. So here I go.
Shane has talked, by this point in the book, Shane's internal monologue has mentioned how badly he wishes Ilya could meet his parents and how he wishes, even just if they said hello to each other, that he could be like, oh my God, my favorite people in the whole world have both talked to each other.
They exist in the same space, yeah.
They exist in the same space and everything is fine. Exactly. And so I think that's definitely part of it.
I just thought it was such an as much as I rag on actors because I had to be around them a lot when I was in film school.
Sometimes they make
Let me
good
tell you,
art.
some are insufferable. I actually am very fascinated by the craft of acting, and of course, like these two do a fucking amazing job.
These two are shapeshifters, just by the way.
Yeah,
but like, no, literally, you're telling me that's Land Leopard? Piss off.
I forgot about that. Dude, I went to film school, and the amount of shit on the internet of me doing random stuff like that, I was just like, yeah, film school, bro. Anyways, just wanted to touch on that because I thought it was a really interesting choice, and I was curious about your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, it's a very good acting choice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there is a quote from The Long Game where he is freaking out to his mom over the phone, and she says, the quote is, or you could just be cool for once in your life. So I was like, if anybody thinks that this is not Shane to be totally freaking out, just know that even Una Hollander is like, can you be cool for once in your fucking life?
Yeah.
My guy.
Relax.
But like, it's all crashing down on Shane, and I just love that like Ilya like physically guides Shane's arms around him. And Miranda
Ilya is so
again,
good in this scene. Like, he's so comforting and so lovely. And I was like, I need me an Ilya sometimes when I'm crashing out.
Yeah, this is the moment where I was like, I need to have Miranda come talk about this. It was this scene, and Miranda was talking about like emotional co-regulation. So take it away because, wow.
I pulled up my thread from this because I was like, I don't remember what I actually said. The thing that really stands out to me here is the blocking of this. Like, Connor does not move at all. Like, Ilya does not take a step. He stands in one place and lets Shane move around him. And I think I've already referred to Ilya as Shane's anchor, but this is such a visual representation of just like Shane spiraling out all around and Ilya just like rooted in the spot. A place for like Shane to come back to and ground with. And again, with the co-regulation, Ilya is not freaking out. He's not, if he's freaked out, he's not showing it. His tone does not change. It's soft. He sometimes brings in humor, like later in the scene, he's like, well, maybe your dad didn't notice. I don't know. But he's speaking in a way that Shane...
It's this is my actual fucking nightmare. And Ilya saying, then maybe it's time to wake up.
Okay. Then, and it's, I think a word that Rachel Reed uses when Ilya speaks a lot is, she writes, he said plainly, or he said honestly. Ilya is just saying things plainly. And he does that at the Hollander cottage when he's like, I've only ever loved one person. Like, he just says things as they are.
It's the Slavic of him. It's the second language, is that he doesn't have a way of creatively saying this. He just has to get to the point, right? It's all he knows how to do.
Yeah. Again, he provides just like and what's heartbreaking, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing for Ilya to be Shane's like anchoring point. It is also heartbreaking when you consider that Ilya likely spent most of his childhood performing and trying to make his mom happy, right? Trying to fill that role of being his mom's emotional anchor point. But then his dad, who like outright hated him and had nothing but disdain for him, only really recognized his worth when he won gold, not even when he won like he had to achieve the highest.
It had to be for Russia, gold for Russia.
Right? But Ilya is the only one that his dad remembers when his dad's memory is failing. And so he is also his dad's anchoring point in the midst of his dad's dementia. And he's taking care of his family. And it, like, I am feeling emotional as I'm talking about it, just because, like, what a like hefty weight to bear. Not only is Ilya doing this beautiful thing and showing love to Shane, but he's also like stepping back into a role that he has had to build for the people in his life because of his trauma. And that is like, when you think about all of those things together, again, it's both beautiful, but it's also incredibly devastating. And
I think that there's also the devastation as a reader, thinking about that context when you go into the long game
Mhm.
and thinking about, see, now I'm getting emotional, thinking about how unmoored Ilya feels in the long game, because where is his anchor?
Right.
Because his anchor's journey through that book is learning that he has to be an anchor.
Mhm.
And also just this insistence from Ilya that he like doesn't need one, he's got it handled.
Mhm.
But he is so unmoored and so directionless in the long game. After having been that anchor for everyone, now he's finally in a situation where he's in a mutual relationship where they love each other very much, and he is just adrift.
And he had his hockey people. He had Svetlana as like, rooting points, but Svetlana he loses touch with in the long game. His hockey family in Boston, he uproots himself for Shane.
And he can't make it make sense to anybody
Correct.
because he can't tell anyone anything.
Correct.
Ugh. Ah.
And then, of course, we get, fuck, I'm scared.
Mhm.
Yes, it's scary, but you're brave. And Shane says, shut up. And he says, you're brave. Just the rolled R's of you're brave. Ugh. Ugh. And Shane says, I feel like I'm going to die. And I just like, been there, buddy.
Mhm.
The only way out
Been
is
there,
through, my
buddy.
love. You gotta...
I've got a sticker that says that right here. It's my favorite and my least favorite phrase, because what do you mean that we have to go through it to get through it? What if I want to go around it?
Yeah, can't do that.
You can't go over it. You can't go under it.
You have to go through it.
I was struck by how like committed and in love and gentle Ilya looks like an entirely different human being than we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. This is boyfriend Ilya, and he is...
This is
the
husband
cutest
Ilya,
version of
baby.
Ilya, I think.
I
As a
agree.
lesbian,
He's so soft.
this is the Ilya that I'm the most attracted to, which is like still none, but I can recognize that he looks really cute.
The way that Shane gets down on the ground as he's holding on to Ilya's legs. I saw a really bad take online. Someone was like, I love it when Shane needs comfort, he reverts to being submissive. And I was like, this is not erotic in any way.
Yuck.
I'm going to cuff you and throw you in the basement and never let you see the light of day ever
God.
again.
Oh
Not
my
in a
God.
sexy way. Like, it makes me so mad because I'm like, can you allow, like, that is fetishization. That is the fetish.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's it. That's that word that I can't say. That is what we're talking
Right.
about. That is the harmful narrative that people are bringing in.
Narrative.
So anyway, disgusting. Like, take you out back, old Yeller. Don't ever say that shit to me ever again. God. But because I love the tenderness, the vulnerability of this, of the dropping to the ground and just being like, I need to curl in on myself, but I also need to still be in touch with you. I need to still be having physical contact with you and letting you anchor me. So I'm going to curl in on myself and also around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I loved it. We get into the car.
Oh, do they not know I play for Boston?
For all the things I love about the show, here's one criticism. The lighting in this scene is really bad. In that scene, when he says, oh, they don't know I play for Boston. Way too bright. Way too bright. But I, like, again, they were on limited time.
I was focused on the moose. I thought I was going to get another take at it because we were in the same driveway. So I really was not focused on the lighting.
No moose for
I was
you.
looking out for that moose.
We are in the car on the way to David and Yuna's cottage, and the lyric as Ilya puts his hand on Shane's on the gear shift is make the sirens stop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know the name of the song, but the lyric that's being sung when he touches Shane and when he lifts his hand to kiss his hand and calm Shane down is make the sirens stop, and I thought that was incredible. And then we get there and Shane says, maybe you should wait in the car. Ilya's face is fucking hysterical. Like, that is amazing.
It's perfect.
When we get to the cottage, there is another wardrobe choice that I want to point out here is Shane's shirt.
His good boy
So-
shirt.
His good boy shirt. So in the book, while he's getting ready to go to his parents' cottage, he's like, I'm going to wear this shirt from this charity hockey camp that I helped with because I want my parents to remember that I'm a good person when we have this conversation, which is heartbreaking.
This just in, being gay means you're no longer a good person.
So the costume designer, Hannah Pooley, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry if it's not. But her idea here for this linen shirt that Shane is wearing is that his mother bought it for him. And so her thought process was that Una buys Shane a lot of linen, but it's not really something that Shane wears very often because it requires more upkeep and maintenance than he's used to. Like, you've got to iron it and you've got to take care of it in certain ways. And
that's why his shirt is so wrinkly.
That's why his shirt is so wrinkly. Every time he's wearing this shirt, he's with his mom, but also it's wrinkly. And so that is, instead of the hockey camp shirt, he is wearing this linen shirt that his mother bought
That's
for
sweet.
him. But so that's why Shane is wearing a linen shirt when he goes to his parents', is because he's like, I want my parents to remember that I am a good boy.
But it's also the exact same, it's the same shirt that he's wearing when he picks Ilya up from the airport. And I almost think it's probably like a security blanket. Maybe I'm getting too therapist-y here, but I wonder if it's just something that he's like, I'm nervous, so I'm going to put on this thing that feels like armor.
He wears it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the show, I was rewatching it. I don't know if you guys know. I was rewatching it, and like,
he
wears it like 4 or 5 times, and every single time it's fucking wrinkly.
Well, the thing is, I think less that it's a comfort blanket in this, in picking up Ilya, because I think his comfort blanket clothing has been like Metro's merch. You know, sweatshirts, hoodies, which is heartbreaking. Oh, yeah.
Montreal, when I catch you, God!
Oh, God.
Anyway.
But I think that the reason that he's wearing it when he goes to pick up Ilya is this idea of like, I have to look nice. This is like my first date, you know, like, in a way.
Yeah,
Should've
in a
worn
sense.
suit.
Gotta look nice.
I mean, it also may be, in a sense, it may be him hiding a little bit. Like, this is not a thing that I usually wear. Maybe I'll be less likely to be recognized at the airport in this shirt. I don't know.
Maybe. I wanted to say, on the topic of the sex suit, I actually was like, I saw an old post of mine and was remembering, like, I think that suit was a direct reference to a part in the book, because he and Ilya hook up for the first time and he's wearing like a cashmere sweater and Ilya shows up in like sweats. And Ilya's like, oh, you look nice. And Shane's like, thanks, I feel like I'm like way too dressed up. And Ilya's like, yes, we both are. Take your clothes off. And I think that I think that the Shane looking at himself in the mirror and be like, what are you doing in a suit? I think that was actually kind of a nod to that in the book, of Ilya being like, wow, you're dressed up, you know? I think it was kind of a little nod to that.
Yeah.
And Shane, again, being someone who doesn't know how to enter a home, rather than ringing the doorbell, knocking on the wall, and then knocking on the door, this time he walks into his own parents' house, his parents who have one child, and says, hey, it's me, Shane.
They know, baby. Also, like, they can see you through the window coming in.
It's too soon to tell him that his parents can see him through the window. You can't say that right now. It's still raw. So, per Jacob Tierney, in the show, David did not tell Una what he saw. So she doesn't know anything.
I'm actually dying to know what went down between them when he drove back to that cottage looking like he had seen a ghost and told her nothing. Like, because like, my reaction, you know, he comes back, I know he's been at Shane's, he comes back like he has seen something terrible. I'd be like, is Shane okay?
Yeah.
Is he
like,
dead?
What is going on?
We also have to address that he was over at the cottage for the most boomer dad reason I've ever heard in my entire life. He's like, I couldn't figure out how to charge my phone, and I know there's a charger at your house that works, so I made my way over to your house. Like, when he explained it, I was like, that's so stupid. That's exactly what any boomer parent would do.
Absolutely.
But I'm also like, brother, your son is like a multi-millionaire a million times over, and you couldn't just go fucking buy a charger. So anyway, Shane says, this is Ilya Rozanov, but you already know that. The way he's trying not to smile when he says Rozanov is so funny to me.
Well, and the way that they are standing there, like they are having to tell their parents that they were playing hockey in the house and knocked over a lamp.
It's the most I threw up I've ever seen a grown man.
Mom, Dad, I threw up.
It's literally that.
And then, of course, he's trying to explain to his parents what he and Ilya are, because this is really hard. Like, they've barely even said it to each other.
We are meeting the parents before we have defined the relationship, and that's crazy.
Right. So he puts his hand on Shane's shoulder and is trying to be helpful, and he says, lovers. And this is where we go into, like, if this were a rom-com, it would have done numbers at the box office, because he goes, no, Ilya, that's gross. This is some of the funniest shit in the entire show. It's amazing.
I just love how confident, like, he's like, oh, Shane doesn't know what to
Lovers.
say. I got it. Lovers. And he's like, no, that was not the vibe. You didn't, incorrect answer.
I'm with Shane, though. It is kind of a gross word. I hate it.
Okay, but at the same time, though, the language difference, I think there's a difference. When you say that in Russian, it means something different. Someone pointed out that Ilya does spend the majority of this interaction looking at David.
Oh, no.
Which is kind of hinting at his own daddy issues of, like, how is this man about to react? Because my father would not be okay.
Oh,
This would not be okay. This is nothing I would ever have been able to tell my dad, I love that Ilya is barely holding back a smile when Shane tells Yuna that he loves him. Oh, God. So now we're at the table. Yuna is saying that they may have, they kind of had a suspicion that Shane was gay. And I love that David says, we both know you pretty well, Shane. I love that.
Yeah.
David is saying, oh my God, it was the All-Star game. And Shane is like, oh, fuck. And, like, I swear to God, Ilya is about to giggle himself all the way to the moon. Like, because they're like, oh no, it's been, like, since our rookie season. And Yuna says, so you've been in love since? And they go, oh, no, just, and she's like, just what? This is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
And you can
in my
literally
life.
see Shane's life flash before his eyes, thinking that Ilya is about to tell his parents that they were just fuck buddies for 7 years.
The multiple times that Shane is like, not helping. And then he goes, Ilya. Like, he literally looks like he's about to be hit by a car. And he's like, Ilya. There is a moment where, they go to get the vodka. David comes in and he says, so there were no nice men in Montreal. And Shane's voice is an octave higher than normal. And he goes,
I don't know. Probably there were.
It's so funny.
I think I've talked about it before. I hate that this is everyone's reaction. Everyone's reaction is like, why him? And, like, it's also a reaction that they have to Scott in the book. They're like, you're not fucking Rosanov, are you? Like, he's great. He's great, and I need people to recognize that.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that the Hollanders mind much. I think that they're just kind of shocked because they're like, okay, you've been telling us forever that you hate him and that he's a dick, so we've been playing along. So this is kind of a curveball, but I don't think that they really have any negative opinions of him outside of what Shane has said.
I disagree.
Ooh.
And then in the first episode, he doesn't even
fuck
bring
him
up,
right up the butt.
Dude, my favorite tweet I've seen about the show was like, I can't believe Hollander said that, knowing she has an autistic son and knowing he would in fact go fuck Ilya because he would take it literally.
David has Russian vodka. Ilya really likes the vodka. They're already starting to bond. This is his forever puzzle buddy, David Hollander. I love this. And then this is the moment that sets up the long game perfectly. Season 2, watch Connor's face in this scene. Because David says, what is your plan? Is your plan to just be in secret? Ilya doesn't answer. Ilya looks at Shane and lets Shane take the wheel.
Because Ilya would come out.
Right. And Shane says, I mean, yeah, probably. It's not like we can just come out. I implore you to watch this scene and ignore everybody except for Ilya. The way that Connor acts this scene is incredible. Ilya never nods. He doesn't affirm. He looks devastated, especially when Yuna says, but that's sad. And Ilya, like, does the eyebrow shrug and tosses his hand in the air like, yeah, but, and then takes a sip of vodka. Like, he is devastated. He is resigned to the fact that this is what Shane is planning on. Because it's not actually what Ilya wants. Ilya's ready to come out. At this point, fuck it. He's ready to throw it all to the wind and just, like, whatever. It's done. So it's just perfect the way it sets it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I think he is very much following Shane's lead.
In a similar way to the way he's done that all season.
Right.
In every aspect,
Right. But he is sort of like, let me see what Shane thinks about this. Like, does Shane also think it's sad? Like, what, like, I feel like he's very much like looking for Shane to like not tell him what he wants, but like tell him how we're gonna play this, you know?
Mhm.
And I think because I've been thinking a lot about the long game just because I keep seeing such
Mhm.
bad takes online and people just
Yeah.
like,
I can't wait to get into it just because you and I you and I feel so passionately about the long game and the misunderstanding of both of them in the long game. So I can't wait to get into talking about that because I think that I think our takes are totally sane and make a lot of sense, and that, like, online, everything I've seen, I've been like, "That's the stupidest fucking thing
yeah,
I've ever heard," and so I can't wait to, like, talk ad nauseum and, like, with
yes,
you
I
about
can't
that,
wait.
and then get to share it with everyone listening because I think that they'll be like, "You guys have good heads on your shoulders." You guys y'all have left reviews to let us know that you appreciate our media literacy. Thank you. That is a very high compliment.
My 11th grade English teacher would be so proud of me. I think Ilya's sort of like something that Ilya really has to work on in the long game is communicating what he needs and what he
Mhm,
wants to Shane. Because he is very much not good at that. And I think,
mhm,
like you said, Camille, like he's been taking kind of the cues from Shane this whole time and doesn't really push a lot of the time. And
mm.
so I think this is just another example of that. Him being like, Shane's the one who's more nervous here. Like, let me see what Shane thinks.
If I ask for too much, will you leave me?
I
Right.
was gonna
Mm.
say that, but also I rewatching the show for I don't know if you guys know this, but I've rewatched the show for you.
Really?
I think that's the third time I said it. 3 times a charm for a joke. We're done.
No more.
I like Ilya's genuinely, or at least not outwardly, ever really ashamed of being bi or liking guys. Like
I was
he kind of has
just
come to
thinking
the
that.
terms that he likes sex with guys, and Shane has not come to terms with that like at all. You can even see in the long game; it's like lingered still, and
Mhm,
not to like compare experiences.
Well, and like, sorry, even the fact that he thinks like I have to prove to my parents that I'm still a good
Mm-hmm.
person, like, really
mhm,
shows that internalized homophobia that Shane very much has.
I'm bi. Like I get it, but I think there is a difference between coming out as bi and coming out as gay in a highly masked sport. Because I feel like there is going to be something like, well, Elias still fucks women or whatever. So it does give it does. I feel in this. I don't think it's always like this. I think in this circumstance, it feels very different. And I also think the season arc of Shane is kind of coming to terms with his sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the season arc of Ilya is coming to terms
With
with,
Shane.
his Shane. It's coming to terms with like whether he feels like he can be loved or not. He hasn't unpacked all his
mm,
trauma, but at
Mm-hmm.
the end he feels like, yes, I am worthy of love. And
Yeah.
those are very different paths. So I think when
Mm-hmm.
Shane's like, I don't want to come out, Ilya constantly in the back of his head is like, what, why not? Like, who
Mm-hmm.
cares? I
mm,
genuinely don't think he sees why, like he even says in the long game, he was like, I think you care too much. Like, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why
mhm,
it's such a big deal. So I think that definitely plays a factor.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think you also have to think about the way that they are perceived kind of publicly. Like, Shane is very much this, like, I was about to say all American. No, he's like all Canadian. Like the Canadian version of, like he's like, he's the good boy. Like, he doesn't get into
mhm,
fights. He's like the perfect little role model. Like, he does all the ads. He's like, whatever. And then Ilya is kind of the bad boy. And like, everybody sort of hates him. And he's kind of, so it feels like him coming out is almost less
T.
controversial
less of
because
a
he's like
shock.
already kind of controversial. So it's like, what
Yeah.
else? Yeah.
Well, but also the being bi of it all. I also think that the family of it all plays a big part in this too. Ilya at this point doesn't have like Shane is his family. He's like chosen that Shane is his family. And so of course he's going to do, and Shane is experiencing this like implosion of his life. He just was outed against his wishes, and
Mm-hmm.
so of course he's going to follow Shane's lead. He is anchor always.
I'm gonna read this to you. This is from the book. He wanted to tell Shane that the closest he felt to home was when he was with him. It didn't matter if it was in a hotel room or Ilya's apartment or at that weird hideout building Shane bought in Montreal
The
or here
sex
at Shane's
condo.
cottage. He was himself when he was with Shane. He'd left Russia. He was uneasy in America. He'd spent his entire adult life drifting between continents and between lovers.
Yeah. So him deferring, I think both, yes, shows that he is not like centering himself in this, maybe from a mental health perspective. Like he's just like, well, I don't believe that I'm worthy. So, you know.
Ilya doesn't ask for what he wants, but then he acts like a kicked puppy for not getting what he wanted.
Yeah.
And I think a great example of that is the club scene in the beginning of the long game, which we can talk about a lot when we get to that point. But I think that that's a great example of like Ilya doesn't ask for what he wants. He doesn't communicate it. And then he sits there and like is near tears because people can't read his mind.
Or he thinks if he asks for it, that this is going to be over.
Yeah, he, in the long game, again, there are multiple times, I think, and I haven't read it in a while, but that he, in his internal monologue, references or like thinks or believes that this is going to be the time that Shane decides that Ilya is too much, that it's too complicated, that it's too hard. And so, yeah.
In the same way that Shane is like, can't you find a woman that you actually really love and marry her? Ilya is like, what if, right? Shane decides
find a guy who's less fucked up than me.
Yeah.
Someone not in hockey, someone that you can like, who's not your rival.
In the gay community.
Anyway, David mentions that he's kind of surprised. He's always thought Ilya was a ladies' man. And Ilya says, it's not untrue. Shane says that Ilya likes both. There's a conversation to be had about the fact that bisexual is not used in this scene, but I will say the word bisexual is in the long game 15 times. Yeah. As a bi person, I'm not offended by the fact that they never say bi. I think that that is part of Ilya's journey. I think that he can't define his sexuality because of the Russia of it all. We haven't got to a point yet where he is safe enough to say that word and use that word. He hasn't been able to label himself until now. And so, like, Erin, I don't know how you feel.
Oh, I changed my identity based on who I talk to. Like, my parents were like, you're experimenting. I was like, fucking sure. Like, my gay friends are like, you're bi. I'm like, yeah. And I'm at a club. I'm like, I'm gay. Like, it really, the queerness to me doesn't need the labels. I personally really don't think that way. And it's also so much easier talking to older people and not having to go through the humdrum of that. So I didn't even clock it, honestly.
And I see, for me, I think that there is that, unfortunately, as bi people do kind of try to hypersexualize the label of bisexual. Is that like, I'm having sex with everyone. And it's like, that's not what I said. And that's not what that means. Right? Like, I'm not sexually attracted to everyone. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm a bad example for this conversation.
See, I kind of read it as, right now, Ilya's not really a part of the queer community because it's not really safe for him to be part of that. So, like, having a label, like, if that doesn't help him with his understanding of himself, then I can understand like him not really having and associating with that label. But I think as he starts really looking for community and starts kind of becoming this gay fairy godmother in a sense, in which he like goes around to the different hockey players and is like, so you're gay, I think it becomes more important to him to like have that label to be able to make those connections. And I don't think that's where he is right now, and I think that's why we haven't said the word. And I don't think it's like trying to erase his bisexuality. I just think that's not where he is right now. Right now, Ilya likes both is kind of just the best way to explain that. Also, because if he's never told Shane in the words like, I am bisexual, he could be
Why
pansexual.
would Shane
he could
label
be
him
queer? He could, like, Shane can't assign him a label.
I think that a lot of people online, especially people in the bi community, because there is so much biphobic content and just like things that people say very casually and they don't realize that it's super biphobic to say. I think that we're hypersensitive, or people are hypersensitive to people not using the word when there is a character who is canonically bi and then they don't say that. People get hypersensitive, and it's one of those things where I'm like, you haven't consumed the media in its entirety yet. Sit down and take a
Right.
second. Sit down. Like, there's context here. Relax. Like, just calm down, bro.
There's always this thing with gay media that drives me crazy, is because I've consumed all of it. When something problematic comes up, like when a character does something problematic or like says something problematic, everyone's like, oh, it's a bad example. And I was like, fun fact, no matter your sexuality, gender, anything, you can be an asshole. You can say the wrong thing.
In fact, you will say the wrong thing. That's the thing that gets me. It's like we demand perfection from all media, from all people, from all characters, from all whatever. And it's like, that's not real life. That's not real life. Like, characters are going to do things you don't agree with. People are going to do things you don't agree with. And like, yes, we should hold people accountable for the shitty things that they do that are harmful. But also, you have to afford some grace. Like,
a Russian character not labeling himself as bisexual the first time he says out loud to someone that's not his sexual partner, like, give me a break, man.
Yeah.
Come
I
on.
just like some of my other favorite queer shows. I mean, like Shameless, I love Galovich, and then Queer as Folk, the one from 2000. Like, there's such problematic storylines, and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, it's a TV show about people that do problematic things. Yeah, it's like that's life. That's cinema.
This whole podcast is based off of The Pit, right? That's what our main coverage is about. And we make the constant joke, like, Dr. Robbie is the main character, and he fucking hates women. Like, what the fuck? Dr. Robbie fucking hates women, bro. Like, he doesn't listen to them. He doesn't respect them as much as he respects everybody else. Like, it's insane. We're not asking for perfect characters. We're not asking for white. Like, I'm sorry. If Robbie can't make a mistake, then what you're looking for is a white savior. But, like, we don't want those because we don't need those. That's gross.
we want to watch
So,
media
like,
about
be
real
serious.
people.
I just like every time, like, I just get so upset when I'm watching, like, when I talk about, like, Downton Abbey, I used to like watch, and the most evil character in it is gay. He's this little evil gay guy, and I love him. And I was talking about it, and they're like, don't you think it's interesting that he's the only gay person in the show and he's evil? I'm like, I do think it's interesting. I think it's fun. I think it's fun that characters can be evil and gay. Like, it's just like, why can't you just, okay, not everything's going to be fucking like Heartstopper by the book. This is all the perfect things to say and do. It's just
Not
not
everything
real
is
life.
about you, Hollander. God.
Everything is about you, Hollander.
I didn't conceptualize myself. I knew that I was attracted to women. I knew that I was attracted to genders other than men, but I didn't conceptualize myself that way. And is it in Heated Rivalry or in The Long Game where Ilya says like 30% true when referring to his attraction to men?
Because someone calls him the F slur on the ice.
slur.
And he
Yeah.
goes, well, it's half true. And then he's like, well, more like 30% true. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if someone, if, and maybe it wouldn't have been a big deal to use it, but I honestly kind of appreciate the nuance of navigating that and honoring if there is a deeper conversation. Honestly, I don't think it's that deep.
Honoring the journey.
I don't think it's that deep, really. Like, I think a lot of people have a lot of big feelings about it, and bi erasure is prevalent.
Right.
But I don't think that this is bi erasure. I think this is what I'm seeing is two men coming to terms with their love for each other and then figuring out, like, Shane has obviously figured out that he's gay. He said it multiple times. I'm gay, Ilya. But it's just not for anyone else to say it. It's for Ilya to say it.
And I think sometimes when people are upset about something like not being included, you have to consider that like this is not a complete story.
Yes.
And based on kind of where we know the story is going, we can assume that it is going to happen, that like he is going to use the word bisexual when he adopts that label for himself. And he just hasn't yet, and that's okay. This is just season 1. Like, we have season 2. He will say bisexual, trust.
They talk about like their plan, right? Ilya lets Shane take the lead. Yuna's like, oh my god, but that's sad. And then they talk about Ilya's sexuality, and Ilya says, I have been with many women, but I've only loved one person. And Shane says, same here. And this is the moment that Yuna is like, I need a minute. Right? She gets up and she leaves. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That for her, hearing that her son has only ever been in love with one person, but she's never...
And she didn't know.
He's never he's never said it and she didn't know. It's not that she's upset with him, it's that she's having this moment of like, oh, I failed. I
Yeah,
fucked up.
I didn't get to be a part of this thing because I didn't do a good job as a
I
mom.
didn't make him feel safe. So, so Yuna goes outside and Shane comes outside and he gives her a sweater. And she's been crying. And they just have like this moment where they just stand and breathe together. This is gonna get me, guys.
So the whole entire show, I hadn't cried up to this point. I got maybe a little teary-eyed during the I Love You scene, but I hadn't cried.
Mhm.
The second he says that, I'm gonna start crying.
Me too, I'm already crying.
The second he says the line, like, Mom, I really tried, I burst out sobbing because I remember, I knew I was gay by the time I was like 14. And I remember actively being 14 in my head being like, well, thank God I'm bi. So I will never address that part. I will just never do it. And it was like every thought I had about a girl, every time I wanted to look at like, even like a spicy video, like every time I was like, push it down, like you can fake it, you can try yourself out of this, like absolutely you can. And I remember when I was 21, when I eventually like came out, I was like, I tried for so long, it's not gonna work, is it? And just like, I think every queer person, I hope it happens less and less today, but like every queer person, like when they had that realization that they were gay, there was the immediate like, no, like denial, like the immediate like, you can't, this can't be happening, this can't be true, I can't be it, like it's not. And the fact that he also, I was in the same situation with my parents where I didn't think they were going to be like mad at me. I also just didn't know. And so him going to his mom and being like, I want you to know that I tried, that I didn't like want this, like that I didn't want to disappoint you. Like that, Jesus Christ, hit me. I think every single queer person I've talked to that watches that show says that scene is the scene that gets to them.
I mean, I've talked a lot about like relating to Shane and like my own coming out and it being very similar to that with the like I clung so hard to the potential of being bisexual because there was still the chance that like I could end up in a seemingly heterosexual relationship, you know, at least from the outside. And just like there's so many coming out to parents scenes in media, and a lot of times it is someone coming out to their mom, and I just like watch this and I'm like, this is how mine should have gone, it should have been these kind of tears, it should not have been me crying because I was told that like a female partner of mine could not come to family events. Like I love that this happened for Shane. And then there's also, this is my first time crying on the podcast, guys. There's also
We're
this part
all
of me
crying.
We're all crying right now. Jesus Christ.
There's like this part of me
Go
that's
back to
so,
the
like,
moose.
there's like this big part of me that's like, this is how it should have been for me, and like why couldn't it have been this for me? And I think that's like it makes it like hard to watch because I'm like, he's
I'm
having
so
such a horrible
jealous.
time with this conversation, but like I'm so jealous right now. Like I
Yeah.
wish that this is what happened to me.
I was just like,
It was also the apology that she gives. That part fucking killed me.
I think that there's a lot of I was thinking about how much forgiveness there is with so many queer people for their parents that just never gets to see the light of day because their parents never ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that queer children have a lot of forgiveness to give, but never get the chance.
Mhm.
And I think that's really hard.
I did see someone online say that, like, Yuna is not a good mom because she did not create this safe place for Shane to come out. And I got a little bit, like, defensive of her,
Yeah.
even though, like, yeah, she kind of didn't, because, like, I don't think that she's a bad mom. I just, like, I don't think this is a scenario she ever considered, because why would she? And so why would she feel like she needed to make this space? And like, yes, she probably could have done more to signal to him that like it is okay to be gay, But
she's
also,
a hockey mom, and I don't think that it's Yuna. I think that it's hockey that told
yeah.
him he couldn't come out. And because he associates his mom with hockey and brand deals
Mhm.
so much, he doesn't want to disappoint her. And so that he associates his mom so much with hockey. It's not
It's
her
not as if,
fault.
like, anyone knows. Like, at this point, they are the only two people who know about this. And
Mhm.
Yuna and David make 3 and 4. Like,
Mhm.
4 people know about this. They are still the first ones to know about this. It's not as if, like, oh, they have all these friends that they're telling, but they're not telling their parents. It's like they didn't feel safe telling anyone. And so I don't think it's necessarily like Yuna could have, should have done all these other things to like make Shane feel safe, because I don't know that he would have. Just like the environment that he was in is more what made him feel safe. And because she is an extension of that environment, like you were saying, like I think it more than anything she did, like hockey is the problem.
I think the most devastating part of this scene is when you realize what he's apologizing for. Because at first it seems like he's apologizing for not having told her.
No.
And then the more he talks, you realize that he's apologizing for being gay. And I mean, in a way, we build our own closets around ourselves, you know? I don't know, it's just devastating. And so the fact that, again, we've hinted at this a million times, but this is the only time that Shane has tears down his face, right?
Mhm.
And it's not that Shane doesn't feel safe with his mom, because his mom is the one place where he cries down his face.
Mhm.
That's his mom. Of course he feels safe with his mom. That's not what
It
it is.
it made me think, like, I mean, like I said, there's been so many like coming out scenes in media. It made me think of Love, Simon, which was like a formative
Mm,
piece of queer media for me, because that was one of the
mm,
first like mainstream queer things that I saw. And I'm thinking about like his mom telling him like, you get to exhale now. Like that's what this
mm.
feels like to me. Like you can cry, I've got you. Like this whole show he's done the big like tears welling in his eyes, and he's never like let them fall. And this is finally like, you can let the tears fall. Like you are with your mom, you are safe. And someone else knows this massive secret that you have been holding for the last like 8, 9,
Decade.
10, I don't even know, how long has it been? Too long. Too long.
Mhm.
Man, I have a lot of thoughts. My primary one is that I just wish that all parents would react this way. I have worked with a lot of different people in my career as a therapist, and sometimes that's working with parents. More often than not, it is working with adults who have parents, as presumably we all do, in whatever phase of life they may be in.
I'm kind of Kyle XY, but go off, I guess.
Oh my God.
I ain't got no belly button,
I
baby.
haven't thought about Kyle XY in maybe a decade. What a gift. Thank you, Camille. Yeah, I just wish that all parents would react this way. It's Camille, you were there. This was calling back to our being in the same space, but not knowing that we were there together at the watch party for the finale.
Yeah.
It was at a lesbian bar in Nashville. And
Mhm.
this scene in particular, watching it among, I don't know, I know that there were a lot of queer people there,
Mhm.
and you could hear a pin drop. And it
Yeah.
was just so like sacred, I think is the word that I would use. It was so powerful to be around people who were watching this, like maybe what they had, but kind of the ideal reaction from a parent, which is, you didn't do anything wrong. I love you exactly the way that you are. I'm sorry that I didn't create enough safety for you to feel like you could come and tell me for whatever reason that is. Not everyone gets this. I've worked with parents who are willing to do the work of remedying or facing their own shit. And I've worked with parents who are not willing to do that. And more often than not, in my individual work with clients, I've come across just like deeply wounded adults whose parents didn't show up for them in the way that they should have. Because I am of the belief that if you choose to have a child, you choose to have a child.
Mhm.
You gotta be ready to love that child, you know.
If I have a kid and they're straight, holy shit, what the fuck am I gonna do with that kid?
Yeah.
Return it,
Put
obviously.
$5 in
Come
the
out
arena.
as
Return it.
straight.
Like, what would I even do with that? You're straight? What do you want to talk about? Hockey? No, that's gay now. Get out
I
of here.
did read a fanfic in which Ilya and Shane's son had to come out to them as straight. very
Wait,
quickly.
send that to me.
Send that to me immediately. I have to read that.
Ilya, be like, I'm so disappointed.
I'm gonna have to find it.
I also love the way that at the end of the scene, Yuna like collects herself and it's just like, okay, like, what's the plan? Like, it shows just how much Shane is Yuna's son.
This isn't like, a lot of people have made the joke about like Tiger Mom and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
but to me, that's not what this is. This is her understanding that what Shane needs right now is logistics, in the same way that Ilya needs logistics from Shane. Shane needs logistics from Mom. That's how you can comfort him.
Yeah. It makes it not only hard, like, and I'm thinking about possibly what's happening in Shane's brain, which is probably just like a mess, but it makes it not only hard for him, he's probably at this moment thinking about how hard it's going to be for Mom, who's also manager, who's going to have to, think about. And it's not just the gay of it all. When I hear him saying, I really tried, I think it's also the Ilya of it. I think it's not just Mom, I'm gay. It's Mom, I'm gay and I'm in love with my rival.
I'm in love with the worst possible option.
Right.
Like the hardest possible option, because it could never be anyone but him.
Yes. Yeah. And Yuna, in saying like, look at me, you did nothing wrong. I'm sorry I made it feel like you couldn't tell me, is not only saying that about Shane being gay, it's also about Ilya. Because I think she sees it. She's already seen it in the way that they are with each other. I would imagine there's a lot of grief that comes up for queer people watching this moment. There's a lot of healing that happens, but it's multi-layered.
I think the scene was rewritten on the day
Really?
that it was shot. Yes, I think
was
that
it gonna
Jacob
be?
rewrote it that morning. I don't remember. I think he changed the dialogue that morning and brought it to them in their trailers, and they had to like sit together in hair and makeup and learn these new lines together. And then I also think that this scene, if I'm remembering correctly, they had to shoot this over 2 days, or it was like morning and later because it started raining while they were shooting. So like this one, they had to sit in this one for a while.
Yeah.
There's a quote from the book in this moment, and the quote is, "They had Yuna on their side now, and Shane couldn't imagine a better ally." That's amazing. I love that. Especially because she is the one in the long game talking Shane down off the ledge and going, okay, you couldn't have messed things up with Ilya. It's Ilya.
It's okay.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. We cut back into the dining room where David has made pasta and is serving it to everybody. And Ilya is shoveling it in.
I love the way that Ilya like loads up his fork with pasta and is like going to put it in his mouth, and Shane like pushes his hand down and is like, hold on, like we're having this conversation, and Ilya kind of looks at him and then just puts the pasta in his mouth anyway. Incredible.
And of course we have to talk about the shoulder shimmy that Connor didn't even realize he was doing. They literally, between takes, they were like, Connor, come look at this. And they showed him the monitors and they were like, look at this dance that you did. And he was like, oh shit, I didn't. He was like, that wasn't.
Pasta.
That poor boy hadn't had a carb in so long because he's trying to maintain the physique.
Bro, no, the way that Connor was like, that wasn't like deep character work. I was just like fucking up some pasta. Like, and then of course Yuna's giving Ilya a hard time about leaving Boston, right? Because they drafted him. And Shane says, he's trying to be loyal to me, not Boston. And he looks at Ilya and he says, my mom cares a little bit too much about hockey. And Ilya says, no, I see where you get it from.
Caring too much about hockey, being boring, and running. Those are all things that are genetic.
The Hollander dining table is a sacred space. Honest to God. I'm obsessed. I love the rapport with all of them once they start to get more comfortable. And they start to talk about Scott Hunter, right? And we talk about how, Ilya talked to Scott after the MLH Awards.
We did already talk about Scott Hunter night. I'll say once again, I wish that we had kept it at least in mention. I understand why they didn't show it to us, but R.I.P. Scott Hunter Knight, you'll be missed.
When we're sitting at the table and Shane starts to have this panic attack, I do want to give some context on why, because it is very sudden. In the book, this is what it says. It says Shane was about to flip him off, but remembered his parents, and then it all kind of hit him. His parents were here, with Ilya. The secret was out, and they were all talking about Shane and Ilya as a couple, and Shane suddenly felt a little lightheaded. It was all happening so fast. Their confessions of love, being discovered by his parents, making plans for the future. Oh God, oh God, oh God. And so in the show, the conversation that's happening here is Yuna is saying, have you talked to Scott Hunter? And Ilya's saying, yes, I have. And then Shane is, in my view, Shane is having this moment of like, oh my God, I don't want to be the next Scott Hunter. I don't want to be kissing on
Yeah.
TV. And that's what sends him into this spiral is like, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to be a game changer.
Yeah, just the overwhelm of everything. Probably the adrenaline of being caught, having to like very quickly move into coming out suddenly, not his choice. Not only coming out as gay, but coming out as dating Ilya Rosanov. And then Ilya is just sitting there just like shoveling pasta, talking so casually about the fact that he talked to Scott Hunter. It would make sense to me that Shane is like, oh, okay. All right. I have to just like exit now.
When I first watched this, I thought it had something to do with his concussion. Like he was having like it all of a sudden like a brain bleed happened and he's just lying down because he also didn't respond to them when they first said it. And I was like, is this how the show's gonna end? What the fuck? I'm so used to like gay trauma. I was just like, wait, what is happening? And he's like, I'm okay. I'm just freaking out. And I was like, don't scare me like that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the fact that you said he doesn't want to be a game changer. And just like, God, it sucks so bad that because of who he is, like he has to be this outspoken person now. Like because just being in love is this kind of controversial thing. Like that sucks. That sucks so bad. Like he just wants to play hockey.
Shane he doesn't want to be gay icon.
He wants to be
Shane
known
Hollander.
for his fat ass.
He wants to be known for his fat ass.
And his hockey skills, not for being gay. Like
okay, this is literally from The Long Game. Shane loved Ilya so much it physically hurt to contain it some days. He didn't want to be a gay icon or deal with any of the attention they would get from the hockey world, both good and bad, if they ever disclosed their relationship. But he wished that he could love Ilya openly without dealing with any of that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be a talking point.
No, he wants to do what he does best and be recognized for that. And have a fat ass.
I'm sorry. I'm fading.
Yeah. No, the ass is like actually vital to the Shane Hollander would die if he was
the 9
known
pounds
for
of
having
palpable
a fat
material.
ass. Hudson Williams wants him to be known for that ass. Shane Hollander is like, please don't perceive me for anything other than hockey.
That's the moment when Shane starts to have another little freak out meltdown and he just sort of like slowly puts his head on the table. And I love that David and Yuna don't jump in. I love
the way that Ilya looks at them like, oh, this is time for me to do my thing.
Yeah, I've got this.
Like, oh, I can prove myself to you. Watch. You doubt me. Watch this.
Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah.
Let me show you that I know him.
And then they get to see it. And then Shane and Ilya get their first kiss in front of anybody else ever. Yeah. And like, for that to be in front of Shane's parents, who then sort of like adopt Ilya as the second son, I feel like it just shifts it's the moment to me where I'm not a parent. Kids are not for me. Respect parents big time,
Same.
But that's not for me. But I can imagine as a parent, all you would want for your kid is that they are loved. And for David and Yuna, who so like genuinely love Shane, to be able to watch that play out in real time, like what a gift for them, but also for the boys, to be able to feel comfortable having that moment in front of David and Yuna, but then for David and Yuna to be like, oh, our son is in excellent hands. So it's a relief.
It makes me think of Ilya talking in the tunnel about how he wishes his father could know him.
Yes.
And he gets a second chance here. He gets to have parents that know him fully.
Yeah.
Especially because for his entire career, the Hollanders have been like, what a dick, right?
Mhm.
But now they're like, he's like, no, 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 no. And we get to have this moment of watching him say, hey, 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 hey,
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
good here.
it's good. You're good. Your family is here. Your boyfriend is here. You're good here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and we finally get the confirmation that we are in fact boyfriends.
Yes.
Which, like, is so funny after, like, okay, you've met the parents, we've talked about our plans for the future and how you're gonna, like, blow up your entire career so that we can be together. And we're not even boyfriends yet.
Right.
I also love the fact that Ilya reaches over to turn Shane's face towards him for a kiss and uses the backs of his fingers because he's had pasta stuck to his fingers and garlic bread.
It's so tender. And honestly, like the way that our nervous systems heal is through reparative experiences, right? Like if we can have corrective experiences that show us that the thing that trauma gives us evidence that things are always going to be bad.
Mm.
When we have a corrective experience, it shifts that narrative a little bit and shows our bodies and our brains that it's possible for there to be something good and different. And so this is a reparative experience for Shane and Ilya and David and Una, who have expressed that they probably knew that Shane was gay for a very long time, but now also are in this difficult thing with them and are showing them nothing but support.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's really beautiful that that's sort of where we end.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a happily ever after. It's happy for
Happy
now.
for now.
Mm-hmm. But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of my favorite scenes in the entire show because it's parents trusting that their child has made the right decision about who they want to have in their life. And that person showing David and Una that he's going to take care of Shane. And
It's like, you don't believe it's been since rookie season? Okay, watch this.
Yeah.
How else would I know this?
How else would I know that this is exactly what he needs?
Now, the boys are leaving the cottage. Una and David are going to come by for dinner at 5. And Ilya's like, please text. And Una's like, why? We'll just be there around 5. And David's like, we will text. He is traumatized. He's like, I don't need to see any of that. We'll text.
Which is so funny because I'm thinking about the lovers of it all, like the lovers conversation. Like, Una was the one that picked up, that finally understood what Ilya was saying at the table when he was like, and then she was the one that said lovers. So yeah.
And then no one is allowed to use that word anymore.
No one is allowed to use that word anymore.
I actually really like how at the table it's Una explaining it to David, and then here it's David explaining it to Una. David's going, we'll text. And she goes, oh. Like, I like their partnership so much.
Well, David knows what he's gonna see now.
David's been there. Honestly, David should consider himself lucky that he didn't see Shane like press Ilya up against
bottom
that
of
wall
all time,
and like drop to his knees. Like,
yes.
And this, I wanted to say this because my favorite line of the whole entire show is "Thank you for pasta." And I'm decorating my kitchen. And if there's any beautiful artists out there that could do like a drawing that says "Thank you for pasta" so I can hang it in my kitchen, I'd be very grateful.
The song that we play in this outro scene is "Bad Things" by Kaylin Russo. And it's amazing, very wonderful. Like, I think on set they actually played the song for the entirety of the take as like a timing thing. Also, Miranda, do you know about this scene and what it actually is?
Yes. Yeah.
This scene, if you don't know, is actually they're like pseudo in character, right? Because there was not going to be any recorded dialogue for the scene. So this is actually Hudson and Connor just like talking to each other about how proud of each other they are and how wonderful it had been to get to do this thing together. And you'll notice that Connor is crying. And it's because Connor has talked about the fact that he's always crying. So yes, this is actually Hudson and Connor in the car, like pseudo in character, but they're talking about how proud they are of each other and how blessed they were.
I was like, my bit was going to be like, oh my God, I'd pay any amount of money to know, like get a lip reader, see what they're actually talking about. That is also like from a director point of view. I don't know if the actors came up with it or Jacob Tierney came up with it, but like from a director point of view, that is such good direction for an actor to be like, okay, how are we going to feel through this scene? Just tell each other you're proud. Now I'm going to cry again.
No, it's literally just Connor and Hudson talking about how proud they are of each other and how wonderful this thing is that they made together and how blessed they were to have met each other and gotten to do this thing together.
Sorry, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine.
That's why at the very end you see Shane grab Ilya's face and kind of do like that thing. That's
It's
very
Hudson.
much Hudson. It's Hudson. Yeah. We do need to talk about a moment from the book that comes after the ride home. This is a quote from Shane says, "This has been the weirdest day of my life." Ilya wanted to tell Shane that it had been one of the best days of his life. It had been awkward, sure, but Ilya felt that, if he hadn't quite been already, he would be welcomed into Shane's family, and that was no small thing. In fact, to Ilya, who'd barely been welcome in his own family, it was huge. And then we talked, I already gave the quote from earlier about he wanted to tell Shane that Shane was like the closest he'd ever felt to home. And the last part of this little passage says, "But now he'd been reeled in by this annoying Canadian, and all he knew was that he wanted to stay. He wanted to anchor himself to Shane and just stay."
Anchor Ilya.
Bars.
Anchor Ilya would like an anchor.
He would like an anchor.
The second he has permission, he becomes the lover boy of all time.
All lover boys. Yeah.
Biblical lover boy behavior.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My spiel about this ending is I absolutely love it. One, because it's just actually a very beautiful concept of like two people getting to talk about this experience they had together in real life. But we said this before, kind of during the first scenes of the when they're in the cottage, but you don't get to see them together a lot. Like it cuts very quickly. We're like on to the next thing. We see them for 2 minutes together. Okay, on to the next thing. And like here, you just get to sit with them for like as long as the song goes on, and you're like,
I'm in the
and
cuck
it
back
feels like
seat.
an exile.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, in the cuck back seat.
I'm in the cuck chair, and I love it.
Wow.
She's exactly where she wants to be, folks.
Imagine being a lesbian, but also being in the cuck chair for a gay person. What's that dynamic?
Okay, I also saw someone say that like, oh, the bisexual girlies are like really into heated rivalry, and you know, and a handful of lesbians are too. I'm like, every lesbian I know is locked in on the gay hockey show.
Yes. Also love in this scene how much like reciprocal intimacy there is. It's just so casual. It's so like I mean, I guess
domestic.
It's domestic, and Connor's hand is on the back of Hudson's because we know the backstory. I'm kind of like referring to them as Connor and Hudson because it feels like it's more of an intimate moment between the two of them. Yeah, in character, but we also see a little bit of break of character at the very end.
At the very
end. But
and that's not us being disrespectful and being like, oh, they broke character. No. That is genuinely, that was the direction.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, you know, Hudson's reaching over into Connor's lap to grab his hand. That is reciprocated. It's just like the flow between the two of them where it's just
and
so.
the fact that Connor is crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actors.
Oh, actors.
Does anyone have any final thoughts on the season, on this episode, anything?
10
I
out
love
of 10,
it. It's
one of my
perfect.
favorite.
It's art.
This is one of my, genuinely, as someone who watches TV and actually like can rate my top 10 TV shows and top 10 episodes, this isn't I have to let it sit for a bit because the new factor, but this is probably one of my favorite episodes of television of all time, this episode.
Yeah, it's perfect. I don't know how it could have been done. I've seen in interviews people referring to it as like lightning in a bottle. It feels like it is here at the perfect time. It is providing a level of escapism, but also a level of community, but also a level of like people being seen. And then we have these two relative unknowns that are being thrust into this new level of fame. And then we get to watch their careers blossom, which is fucking cool, and see what art they're going to make. This show is perfect. I wouldn't change it.
Well, okay. So yes, this is the end of our season 1 coverage for Heated Rivalry. Thank you so much to the tons of people that have joined us for this. This has been incredible. We've had so much engagement. Our numbers have gone crazy. All of our Heated Rivalry episodes are in our top 10 episodes right now.
Crazy.
Which is insane. We've had this podcast for about 9 months now. So thank you so much for joining us. Please continue to engage, to send us your thoughts, pitgroupodcast@gmail.com.
Also, if any of you want to watch The Pit to keep this party going in between heated rivalry episodes, The Pit is great. Would recommend. We got a lot of Pit content for you.
Love Pit.
We all love it.
So good.
We talk about it every week. We are, our episodes go live, like 2 hours after the episodes end on Thursdays. So you can listen to us do our recap of the episode you just watched. But thank you to everyone for joining us. And for everything, please stay tuned. We have so much more coming. And we'll see you next time.
So long, fellow losers.
The Pit Crew podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. This episode was edited by me. You can find us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at Pit Crew Podcast. If you'd like to support our other projects, our socials are linked in the show notes. Our art is by Rand Pacoca. He can be found on Instagram at Rand Pacoca. All patient questions and concerns can be emailed to pitgroupodcast@gmail.com. Now, this isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.